feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful audience. Give yourself some round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. And while you're in the clapping mood, I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band.
Hey. Hello. And welcome to 30 Something Podcast. I'm like resonating throughout the studio right now. Thank you guys for watching. We have a really good show for you tonight. My name is Drea, and we have Miss Shay.
Hey.
And Miss Lisa.
Hey.
And we have the Miss Marie back in the studio.
Hey.
I couldn't get enough of her, so I asked her to come back.
Hey.
And we also have Mr. Raymond Gilbert here with us.
What's going on?
Raymond is going to be talking about his story with some injustice having to do with his son Khalil, who was murdered at the age of 2. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. We always want to thank Mr. Justin Rose and these beats ain't free.
Hey,
Can
Justin.
somebody tag J Rose and let him know that I'm ripping right now? I got on my Keontae.
She's like, these beats ain't free.
These beats ain't free shirt on. And so I just want y'all to let him know, because I hounded him real bad about my shirt that I bought over a year ago. And I was all on his Instagram being rude. But he finally gave me my shirt. So I just want y'all to let him know that I wear his shirt. So we're going to get into What Now? And let's see, what now? It's been raining for 379 days. Not really, but it's been raining a long time. Like, I feel like we drowning a little bit. Like, I'm sad. I've been depressed.
It's good sleeping
Seasonal
weather.
depression.
I just take all kind of naps.
It's perfect for cuffing season.
I guess it is. It done got cold, too. Like, it went from, like, 90 and raining to, like,
Cold.
40 and still raining.
But see, I don't water my lawn, so I'm like so glad it's raining because I'm like my lawn
Yeah,
is
but I
full
feel
of
like the
water.
foundation finna shift in a minute. Like, it's a lot of water. Like, and our fence was blown down. It was like some straight line winds. We kind of live out there, so it was like some straight line winds that came through and blew down the fence. And it was so much water. It's almost like we need to. It's like a moat going around the house. It's so much water.
Oh no!
But
that's
also
not good.
the Llano River that is like right on the outskirts of Austin, like a freeway, the bridge collapsed because the water had crested so high. So y'all
And
just
just bad infrastructure in general because we don't take care of anything.
that part too.
Like Texas. Like,
But it's like this is some intense rain. Like, y'all just be careful on these roadways. It's been like a whole lot of accidents. People get ambitious, you know, and impatient,
Yeah.
and don't want to get where they're going.
So are you like one of those slow rain drivers? Or are you like
I got here in 12 minutes.
Look, as she tells him,
It told me.
slow down.
Right.
I'm gonna speed.
Y'all slow down.
She's like, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
She's like, this is what I do.
Well, I mean, my dad said, why you go have a Mustang if you ain't gonna drive it? So,
In the rain, like,
a young lady?
I'm
She
careful. I
passed
keep forgetting
away
stopping
yesterday. She attended Lincoln, so condolences to her family.
It was a car accident?
Yeah, it was a car accident.
no.
So,
Oh,
no.
what's her name?
I'm not Navi, the brow boss or something.
Oh,
That's
okay.
her. I'm not
Oh.
100%.
her
I
name on
didn't.
Facebook.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
go to school with her. I think she graduated
Yeah.
after me, but a lot of my friends know her. So
For sure.
definitely condolences, and do slow down and be careful.
Please do.
guys.
Yeah.
Please do.
And Mama, you talking about Noah said it was gonna rain? Are you talking about Noah in the Bible?
But that's
Who is
really where we need, like, we need to start getting two of everything at this point, because this not gonna let up. Like,
Speaking of, did y'all see that meme where they was like, did somebody gather 2 roaches and 2 bed bugs?
no.
I thought that was
We
hilarious.
saw it back then. That's okay.
They were like,
That's how they got
did
here.
Noah? Yeah, that's how they got here. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
that was funny to me.
But our next story on What Now is we have had 2 gun violence related incidents here in the city over the past couple of days, and it has kind of like set the whole social media platform on fire. As far, especially like in the hip hop community, Roy Lee Pate, who was a comedian here in Dallas, he was shot on September 25th, and he ended up passing away from complications from the gunshot wound. They were saying that it was possibly like a blood clot that traveled to his lung that caused him to die. I was about to say expire. Why was I going to say that? That caused him to pass away. The police are actually looking for more information as far as his case. The Dallas Morning News, they're saying that he was when he was shot on the 25th. It was at 7:50 p.m. He was sitting in the parking lot of Preston Valley Shopping Center on the 12800 block of Preston Road near LBJ Freeway. He was taken to the local hospital for treatment and because he had been shot in the leg. He was scheduled to perform Friday a stand-up comedy show in Paris, Texas, according to social media, and he ended up dying on Saturday from complications from his injury.
He did perform though.
He ended up
he
performing
performed
that
that Friday night. That was his last show.
Oh, okay.
So I think they had some footage on social media.
Yeah.
Of that.
And they said that if anyone has any information about the case, please call Detective Montenegro at 214-671-3624. Y'all, we got to let go of this no snitching ass policy that we got in the hood. Like, people do deserve justice. They really do. And that's like another part of the show that we're going to be talking about a little bit later, is that we really do need to advocate for one another, because if it were to be like, you know, someone in your family or, you know, want somebody that you really cared about, like, you would really want them to have that justice. So just make sure that if you know something, say something.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other story was Yellow Beezy.
It's on me, baby.
Yes, yes. DeAndre Conway. I did not know that was his name. He was shot over. His car was shot at over a dozen times, and he was hit 3 times. He was on Sam Rayburn Tollway. I'm reading from the Rolling Stone. He was shot 3 times. The vehicle pulled up and it was almost like a drive-by type situation. But he is still alive, and I believe he's been released from the hospital.
I think he's on the BET. He's hosting actually at BET Awards tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
But
Are they connected?
Oh,
That was
or
probably
something.
pre-recorded though.
I think some of it's live or something, but I don't watch the.
I don't have BET.
Well, I don't watch.
I had
TV.
enough.
I don't have
I
cable.
I got the hook.
I'm like, I just was listening to the radio.
Right.
Well,
But
I
I
know
heard
radio to
those
listen
two
to in Dallas.
could potentially be connected. I don't know how true
Well, they were
that
saying,
is.
and you know, I don't know. So
Yeah, I don't know
I can't really speak on it, but they said that I don't know. I guess like Yellow Beezy hit Roy Lee Pate or something like that. But
Allegedly. Let's say
Allegedly.
that, because I don't want to be in the business of spewing false information.
exactly.
Look,
So
here we are.
right.
Like so, from what I heard.
Right. What
The
I
streets is
heard.
talking.
No, but I mean, there was like some rumors floating around on social media. But at the end of the day, you have one man who is dead and another man who is wounded who could have been dead. You know, it's just a bunch of senseless stuff going on, and it's really not worth it. Like, people need to definitely start considering their own lives before they start. Like, you're putting your own life at risk, like your freedom. Like, your life is going to change, and you're going to, everybody around you, their life is going to change because of something that you did.
Yeah.
So we just have to start being more mindful of the things and not move so much in the heat of the moment, because that's costing us a lot of anguish in our community. Like, that's something that we need to get a hold of, like, honestly.
Well, I want to encourage all the Facebook detectives. Your local law enforcement agencies are hiring. I would recommend you guys getting some jobs. I mean, they know everything.
Stan said that it was pre-recorded.
They have all
BET Awards.
the answers to every crime. They saw the crime
And
of
didn't you say there's a
Kanika
Facebook group for
Jenkins.
that?
They really did, though. Like,
I'm being
on
funny, but I'm being
I ain't
serious.
Gonna lie, like, Keith the Street Lady, they really did like do some real detective work when it came down to some of these cases. And some people missed their calling. Like, they just, you
But
know,
Girl,
it's
that
not-
or lawyers.
but I
Like, they
don't
need
like
detectives
know
or
if
lawyers.
it's
Some
like
folks
that
come
in
there like
real
they
life.
just
You
paid to
damn.
argue. Like, you did this for 2 days.
like,
now.
but I don't know
You don't
you.
seem, that doesn't seem emotional to you just a little.
But it doesn't like it's so much more process involved in
Right.
real life. So
Right.
it never happens as intensively as it should.
Right. That
That's
is
true.
definitely
Some
true.
things get swept under
Red
the rug
tape.
Yeah.
also.
Right, because
committee.
people have their agendas.
Yeah.
You know, so. But then, you know, whatever. Just do the right
But I
damn
guess
thing.
keep doing what you're doing. Then
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, but still
Right.
apply. Still apply.
Right, because Smash the Topic be out there. I saw that it was I shared to Lisa, it was Smash the Topic the other day. It was a shooting of a bunch of teenagers over in Stop 6, and
right.
it never made the news. Like, it was a bunch of teenagers, it was in a drive-by, and it never made the news. Like, it was crazy. It was media out there, but it never made the news. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, too, there.
Right.
Look, but there's a lot of reasons that probably didn't make the news.
Yeah,
A lot of political reasons.
Yeah, that's true,
Exactly.
too. Why is Derek telling me to change my password? Where am I changing my password to? Anyway, but threw me all the way off. We're gonna go to a commercial, and then we'll be back right after this.
It's hot in here. I'm hot. No, I'm hot.
No, but it was a hot guy in there.
Not that kind of hot. We need Metro Men. For all of your air conditioning and heating services, please contact Metro Air Conditioning and Heating Services at 214-948-8888 or visit him on the web at metroacs.com. You can also find him on Facebook at Metro Air Conditioning and Heating Services. He's been in business since 1990, a member of the Better Business Bureau with a AAA rating. And he may not be hot, but he'll make sure that you're not. Now, where's that other guy?
And we're back. So we have Mr. Raymond Gilbert here with us.
How you doing?
He told me he was nervous, y'all.
You nervous?
Bless his heart.
Please.
So he's going to I was reading a message. He was telling me to not type my password on the live. I don't think I did. Oh, my password on my phone. Okay, sorry. But anyway, Raymond's here, and he is going to talk about his son, Khalil. And it's like a very sad incident. Raymond is a close friend with another acquaintance of mine, and I met him. And the story of his son, it touched me when I saw it. Like, I mean, I was just, y'all know I have a little baby, and I have a big baby too, but it's, just to have a little baby and to see what happened, like, it was very overwhelming for me. And I tried to help as much as I could. He came to my office, and I called everybody that I could. I talked to detectives. I talked to the police department. I talked to everybody, but I couldn't, get any traction on what the case was. Can you well, let's watch the video first. We have a video. It's about 8 minutes long, but it gives you like some details about the case. And then when we come back from the video, then we're going to talk more with Raymond about his case and baby Khalil.
He ran everywhere. He laughed all the time, always smiling. He was just a light and lighting up your day. It was my little man. At one point, I felt like I had no other friend in the world but him.
What are you saying, Khalil? What are you saying, buddy?
He was a lot of fun. I bought him a little Power Wheel car, and he would drive that all day, even until the battery went out, and he was still sitting in that like he was driving it. But his mother would come around every once in a while. It was just me. He lived with me. He would go stay a few days with her all weekend, and he would come back to my house. And then all the different things started happening, the bruises and stuff. That's when I was concerned. I didn't want him to go back with her. It was a Friday. I was at work, and I had just gotten my lunch. As I'm walking back, her mother calls me. And she asked me had I seen Khalil. No, I haven't seen him. He's been with his mom. She says, okay. And I say probably about an hour later, she calls me back about 10 times in a row. What happened to his face? I just told you an hour ago I haven't seen him. So she sends me some pictures of him. So immediately I called my mama, called my brothers. We was gonna go see about them bruises that night. when she's thinking that she's coming to pick him up, but we were gonna all pretty much confront her about it. And that went horribly wrong. All she did was complain about me not doing anything for him. And a member of her family cut her off and said, well, he lives with Raymond, so what is he not doing for him? Like the fact that he's alive and putting on weight should tell you that he's doing something for him. And she would never answer the questions. And we eventually realized we weren't getting anywhere, so I took my son, I left. Saturday we go to the zoo, but he wouldn't let me put him down. It was kind of odd because he would try to slap your hand away if you tried to pick him up. It was kind of like a sign that I was missing. He couldn't explain it, but he knew I was going to protect him. So Monday comes and I get another call from my mom, and she's like, you need to come to the hospital. Khalil's in the hospital. So when I go, 5 officers follow me into the room. They tell me he didn't make it. I was like, is he on the way? What you mean he didn't make it? He'll be here in a little bit? Like, no, we tried to revive him, we couldn't. Revive him from what? He was perfect. Wasn't nothing wrong with him. So it broke my heart, I cried. Her family members kept trying to talk to me and ask me what I did. What did I do to him? And I'm like, I haven't seen him in 2 days. What could I have done to him? And it's confused me. I'm hurt and confused. And they wouldn't let me see him. They wouldn't let me see his body. Because he's now evidence. So along with my hurt and confusion, I can't see him or hold him. I wasn't even there for him to see me to see if he's all right or not. Because I was his protector and I couldn't protect him. She said Monday they woke up and he was real lethargic. He didn't want to move, which is unusual for him because he wakes up and he doesn't stop running until he lays back down at night. Her boyfriend took him outside and he came back in the house and sat down and just died. That was her story. And he just sat down and died. When they got the homicide report back, he called both sides of the family, and we all got the same news at the same time. He told us it was a homicide. I knew we weren't leaving without somebody being arrested. He went over the details of the autopsy and the medical examiner's report. But then he got to one key part of it where he asked her, he had been with you and your boyfriend all morning, right? And he gave her a chance to answer. She said yes. And he asked her boyfriend the same question. He also said yes. So then he stops and he picks up a piece of paper. On his paper it says Khalil's injuries occurred 30 minutes before he died. I've already confirmed there was nobody else around you. It was just you two with him. And he died in this manner from kicks and or punches. And he listed off all the different injuries, how it happened, how he suffered. And he said now our persons of interest have moved to suspects in the homicide of Khalil. And immediately, Khalil's mother started defending her boyfriend. And the detective asked her, you'd rather defend your boyfriend than pursue justice for your son? Here's the facts. Here's what happened. The district attorney tells me we know the suspects. We can't figure out if it was him or her. Tough luck, man. We sorry. I was dumbfounded. Are you serious? You just named all the facts. You just named the suspects. You just named what happened. And nothing. That made me lose a lot of faith in our justice system. And now I have a lot of anger. A lot of distrust, a lot of mood swings. At that point, I'm not saying I wanted to kill myself or anything. I just didn't care about life. I didn't go back to my apartment for weeks. One of my good friends, he would come over here, even though I wouldn't talk to him. I would just sit there and stare into space. He came over here, and he would just sit with me for hours. He would sit for hours and he would leave. He would come back. He'd come see me. And that's where I'm at. Hurt, angry. I want justice. It's just human nature to protect this child. And y'all both didn't. A lot of times I have a hard time deciphering whether I'm dreaming or I'm awake. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. This can't be real. At one point, I felt like he was going to be something amazing to not just me, but people around him, maybe to this country, maybe something amazing, like remembered more than I was. I just knew he was that great. My shining star, my reason, what I'm proud of is ripped out of my life.
Okay, so we're back. So I was supposed to have Raymond on the show, like, oh, I'm sorry. But I was supposed to have him on the show, like, when we first started. I was gonna ask him to come on, but then, like, we got away from it. And so we were trying to figure out what we were gonna do for the show this week. And I was gonna do a show about, like, you know, single fathers or something. And then I thought about it. I was like, I had his case file on my desk when I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Raymond and see if he can come on the show. And he told me, he said, I thought that I had been forgotten about. And so I thought I would ask him to come on to the show. So thank you for coming.
Definitely, thank you.
And if you guys could, like, just share, because, you know, we don't have a huge platform here. But with everybody sharing, like, we can definitely push his story out there to be recognized. So, Raymond, can you tell us, like, what life has been for you since 2014?
A nightmare. Stress, like, you can even see in the video from, like, the size I am now. I've lost weight.
You have.
I wake up every day to a nightmare. This is recurring. And besides my family, I don't want to be around nobody.
I can understand that. Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like having to, you know, get that phone call about your kid, you know? Because as a parent, like, especially, you know, a father and your son, like, you just kind of build your life around your kids. So I can't even I wouldn't be able to wrap my head around it. So I just commend you for just being strong enough to just keep going, you know, since that point. I mean,
I had to.
Yeah.
My son's funeral was Saturday and Monday. I went back to work.
Wow.
If I didn't, I had to keep going.
Yeah. What is what did the police say to you as far as, because I know what they said to me, but, you know, what was their story to you as far as to why they couldn't do an arrest or a conviction?
They told me they couldn't figure out if it was him or her.
Okay. So did they, and I know we see on TV, and I'm kind of tripped up on my words, because I know we see on TV, like, usually if there's a case where somebody has been murdered and, you know, you do have two suspects, they would usually arrest the both of them and see who flips on who, right?
Yes. Or make one accessory or something. Like, I was even looking into it. I even reached out to a friend that's a DA too, like, well, why would they handle this case this way? And then a part of me wonders if it's just another case of a disparity, because there's children that that they're not even sure what they win. It's national news.
Right.
And they're trying people, again, without even a body.
body.
Literally saying that we said this is a homicide. So this isn't something unknown, death unknown, which I looked up that too. So there's situations where death's unknown, so they don't make any arrests. But when you literally call it a homicide and the evidence is right there, everyone needs to go to jail.
Right.
Everybody.
Right. And the case is in Tarrant County.
Yes, it is.
Right. So, y'all hit up the Tarrant County DA and impressed them on
It
this.
keeps changing hands. It changed hands 4 times since 2014.
And
Have you reached out to like a lawyer or anybody in general? And that I've done too. She's supposed to get back to me later, but it's like, again, why would this occur? And then is this because it's an African American boy? What allows you to just kind of just walk
Write
away?
it
Or
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, and that was just their excuse. Did you hire a lawyer?
I tried. Nobody would take it.
Nobody would take the case. Wow. Okay. If you're a lawyer and
Definitely.
you want to take on this case, like totally let us know. Because this baby deserves justice.
This father deserves justice.
Yes.
I
His
mean,
family
especially
deserves justice.
with so many absent fathers, and we see this father being fully active in his child's life, and just to have his child taken from him, no answers, and a half-ass apology from the detective, like, it's ridiculous. And he deserves justice just as well as Khalil does,
Right.
from my point of view.
And the mother,
I don't know.
you don't know where she
disappeared.
is.
Wow.
And the boyfriend, he was incarcerated.
On unrelated charges.
Right, unrelated charges. Yeah, I think it was, he was incarcerated over something else, but he's currently in jail, but just not doing any time for the death of Khalil.
They didn't move forward with anything on the death, on the murder at all.
So no charges were
So
filed,
it's
no
unsolved.
negligence or anything
No,
of that
nothing.
sort.
They tried the injury to a child, but they no billed it.
Wow.
She said he was falling out, and she was scared of me.
She was
scared of what I was going to do to her, or the boyfriend was going to do to her.
That's what the mother said.
Yes,
If she were to flip on him.
yes. So they no billed it.
But I mean, once you take my child, you've done everything you could possibly do to
Right.
me at this point. But even too, this is like what they actually, when they say like you're the step parent or something like that, they call it like the Cinderella syndrome, and it's actually anywhere from 40 to 100 times more likely that your child could die at the death of the hands of the person that you're dating because it's not their child.
Yeah.
And so it is something you almost have to be cautionary of when you start to see the red flags. But I wouldn't know how to, like, I would probably kill somebody. Like, and you said that you haven't talked to the mother, or I would probably.
I mean, everybody already knows, like, my feelings when it comes down to my kids. Like, I'm not calling nobody. I'm not telling nobody. It's, and I'm not even saying that that's what you should do. But I'm just saying, as a parent, like, those instincts kick in. But you had a baby since then, right?
Yeah, my beautiful little mom, Kalia.
Oh my, Khalil, she is so cute, y'all. She looks just like Khalil to me. Like she's exactly like him with hair. She's so cute. I should have got a picture of her because she's so pretty. But yeah, this is a very difficult story, and as far as, have you talked to any of the detectives as of late, or they just closed the case and they're not going to reopen it?
In 2016, in January, the case was no billed. In May that same year, the head detective on the case was still telling me they were working on it.
What was his name? Do you recall? Because I would like to get some harassment on those certain detectives to get some action from them. I mean,
Detective Caleb Blank.
Okay.
Caleb
Y'all heard
Blank.
that, guys?
He works at the Arlington Police Department.
And do you have, I know on change.org, do you have like anywhere where people can see more about the story, or if they need some sort of resources or anything, somewhere that they can go?
No, I don't have. I only have the like page I made.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. With, the rejection you've received right now, how can we not just 30-something podcasts, but the community. What do you need from us to get behind you to help affect change in this case? Is it resources? Because I know you said you've been turned down by lawyers. So we don't want to just use our platform to talk about, you know, what you've experienced, and our condolences and hearts are with you. But we want to affect change for you, and to at least not just create awareness, but to knock on a door and get a door to open up. So if you could tell us, the viewers and everybody here, how we can help.
Just get this to as many ears and eyes as possible. Because actually speaking to people, talking to them, it hasn't helped. People actually seeing videos of the case.
I mean, and it's a very emotional subject, you know, and everybody has kids, so I don't understand why this hasn't, you know, necessarily gained as much traction as it could have. And I talked to the reporter, not the guy that did the video, but there was a reporter that she wrote an article about it, and she was even confused as to why, like, the story hadn't gained any traction and why, you know, people haven't rallied behind some sort of action being taken in the case.
Is the Stark Telegram reporter?
Yes.
And she was amazing. That's who did all the video.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I talked with her. She was like, if you come up with something, you know, let me know. Just keep me abreast of what's going on with the case. But it's at such a standstill, and it's just it's so bewildering that a child could die, and it would seem like nobody cared.
My child was beat to death. He didn't just die.
Right.
So
he was murdered.
The first injuries, was there a report to CPS?
Yes,
during
it was
that time?
two CPS reports.
And so what is CPS, what were their findings, if you don't mind me asking, because I don't want to be insensitive at all.
I don't mind talking about it at all. CPS told me that they couldn't get anybody to answer the door. And then after his death, they initially investigated me.
But he wasn't even in your care.
He wasn't even in my care.
So there's also an issue with the CPS department. You live in Fort Worth or Arlington during the time?
I lived in Grand Prairie.
When he was with his mom, where was he?
She lived in Arlington.
Okay. So not only did...
And this is like just during visitation.
Yeah, he was just visiting her.
You guys, did you have like a court custody agreement? This is just something that y'all did amongst each other.
He just so happened to go with her that weekend. Because he normally lived with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's like so many questions. I wish we had like a lawyer on the show to kind
right.
of explain.
If we have a lawyer that
like,
could call in, that could, you know, shed some light on this as to why the case was dismissed. Can you put the phone number up? We'll have the phone number going across the ticker if there's any lawyer watching that kind of wants to chime in about this. So when CPS, when the injuries on the sides of his head occurred, I kept trying to, in my mind.
That was the case that was no build.
Right. But in my mind, I was trying to like figure out like what would cause like those type of.
Somebody grabbing him like that.
Wow. Okay. Okay. But
and when you went to the house, she started talking about what you were doing to help the child.
Well, I wasn't doing to help him.
It sounded like she was deflecting.
And it was kind of like,
right.
He lives with, right.
Like he lives with me.
Right. I'm doing everything. You ain't doing shit.
Like what are you exactly?
Right. And he would be 6 right now. Yeah.
Yes, he'd be 6.
Wow. He'd been 6 years old.
That's how my baby is.
Yeah.
6.
Well, if anybody has any questions, you can definitely call in as well. But in CPS, they said that the case was no bill because she wouldn't answer the door because of the injuries. But as far as like providing an explanation as to what the injuries were and where they came from,
I never got
there was
anything.
What is no bill?
No, I threw the case out.
Oh.
Because she didn't answer the door. To me, that would actually make it. To me,
But
that would
that's
be more
negligent
suspicious
of the
if I'm
CPS
able.
worker.
But two, they're understaffed themselves.
Right.
They're
I don't want to hear that understaffed excuse.
But going
No,
back,
yeah,
justifying it, but going back to that's probably why I got
because they
dismissed so
figure
quickly.
out
Okay, no one answered
Right.
the door.
I have friends
You know,
who-
I did this follow up and didn't go this way, but I still feel like there's to some degree, then they should also be held liable as well.
Right.
So
Right.
they're just as guilty.
Right. Right. And the thing is, but does that set off the chain reaction though, right? Because let's say we do arrest mom or mom's boyfriend, and now there's some sort of liability,
Yeah.
you know, because we could have but didn't,
Yeah.
you know.
But that
so-
makes you also, again, going back to question the traction around it because of the hands involved. Well, since this was reported, and so they actually followed proper protocol, and it wasn't taken care of. So now, guess what? Like she said, if mom, the boyfriend, well, where does CPS fall now? Well, that's also us.
Right.
We're,
Right.
we're the state. So,
Right.
yeah, we don't want to, arbitrary. So let's try to move around. So it's almost feels like it's something that could have a lot of politics involved in it as well.
I'm not
And
sure.
direct-
Where
Directly.
would the politics come from?
But they would be held
never met
liable, I guess, on their side. So it's like then they would also be on trial at this point, because in essence, too, if you were to try them, so let's say we did go get the mom and the boyfriend, right? So now too, we also should have a lawsuit against CPS. You allowed this child to be in a endangered environment, and you did nothing, and we made all the reports necessary. So again, going back to they're just as guilty. So then that's an in-house internal issue, which going back to that, because really this should have way more traction. This is so tragic that to see, because even too,
And
like
it's so cut and dry.
It is.
yeah, and I looked like literally, I'm like researching like all the way. Then I'm looking at other cases, and this is all within the time frame of us having the conversation today. And so it doesn't even make sense for it to be so quiet.
Right. I mean, you have a 2-year-old
like,
boy
what is
who
the-
has previous injuries, and that while he was in mother's care, all of a sudden he dies as from blunt force trauma, as a result of blunt force trauma to his abdomen while he was in his mother's care, and nobody's
And
arrested.
ruled homicide. So going back
Right,
to
and it's been ruled as a homicide.
There's some
Right,
reasonable
right.
doubt there. There's no
Right.
doubt. So at this
Right.
point, someone needs to be held accountable.
Right. I don't know.
And you would bring both of them in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take.
And
both
then
of
for
y'all.
the
If I were-
detective to say, well, so you're going to defend your boyfriend over wanting justice for your child, that in itself
That speaks
tells
volumes.
you.
right.
And for him to just still close the case,
And I mean,
I'm
and
trying not to use my
Yeah, it's
cursing
just like-
words.
And that was
That's
pretty much like the
ridiculous.
response. It was like, well, you know, we really can't do anything because the issue that came up was that if we have to have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this particular person was guilty, and so if we don't have enough to take it to trial to say that, then we're not going to.
But
We're
then
not
you
gonna-
have to have
There
what
could have been
charge?
another
It's manslaughter.
charge,
Like
though.
there's so many good child endangerment, child
Right.
neglect.
Right.
There's so
To
many
not
charges.
have
to
not
I
one
agree.
charge, that's bullshit. I'm saying it. That's exactly what it is. You okay with me saying that? Okay. I'm just
Like,
making
is that cool?
sure.
Yeah, it totally is. I don't really know like what else can be done in this case. And I see Vonda is on the live right now, and they're catching her up with what's going on. I honestly I brought him on to share his story because I was like at a complete loss, and I'm not a lawyer, right? Like I didn't go to law school, but I'm not stupid. Like I'm looking at evidence, I'm looking at murder, I'm looking at abuse,
Right.
and you have 2 perpetrators. What else are we talking about? Like, what else needs to be talked about? Is this one of those situations where if you don't have enough money to lawyer up, then your case falls through the cracks? Is that what this is? Like, is that what it comes down to? Like, if you would have, been able to pony up 10 grand, to get a lawyer on, and I'm not saying that you didn't try, but I'm just saying, like, does it come down to like one of these situations, or maybe you just wasn't the right complexion? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's like so many variables, but then even too, looking at like there are pro bono lawyers. Like it almost like kind of makes us feel like, okay, we need to do something more. It's not enough just to tell the story.
Right.
How can we help? How can we fix the situation or attempt to rectify it or bring justice? But yeah, there's like so many variables to it. It's
Right.
just ridiculous.
And the only thing that I can say is that we got 41 people watching right now, and that's off and on. If 41 people shared this story 15 times, then that's more eyes on the story. It's more people being able to look at this. Maybe somebody who can do something. Maybe somebody who knows somebody who can say something. You never know. But I just really want this story. I want his story to get out there. I don't want Khalil to be forgotten about.
Right. And we've had some responses from some of our readers who have worked for DFPS. And they're saying, that workers are unable to close the case without at least making contact.
That's why it doesn't make. That's why I'm like, you
Right.
make contact, and now I'm still until I
Even
reach you,
being
like,
overworked.
Yeah, I'm still.
Right, and CPS has gone through since then some sort of a reform since then, and they kind of like divvied up the workload, hired more people, so they're not as pressed as they were before. But that does not speak to the legalities of the situation. That does not speak to why the DA has not charged these two people.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak to why the mom's still walking around free. You know, and she could have had more kids since then. Like and not to say that
And
you know
some more sorry boyfriends.
right.
Because, I mean, her history speaks for herself.
Yeah. But I definitely just wanted to have him on here to like just bring some light to the situation. And you left. You went to what, San Diego?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
You went to San Diego for a little bit and came back. And how has it been for your family
Rough.
throughout this ordeal?
Real rough. It's I can understand it's caused a lot of bitterness between us.
Your family?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
A lot
If
of,
you want to go into it.
well, I don't mind talking about it. A lot of doubt, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, a lot of you should have did this, I should have did that. A lot of my own ego it eats at me. I'm
And-
literally a professional tough guy. My little boy was beat to death.
Yeah.
But you were trying to do what was right as far as allowing him a relationship with his mother.
Oh, no doubt.
And I mean, anyone should get that and see that, and to, you know, place blame on you is reckless and inconsiderate, you know, in my opinion, when it comes to pointing fingers at you for the decisions you made as a father. I mean, anybody can say what should have been done, but
Exactly.
they didn't experience the situation. So I would say, you know, not to beat yourself up about it. I mean,
you can say that. You know
I
what
would
I'm
hope.
saying?
Yeah,
You can
I
say
can
that.
say
A lot
that
easier
too.
said
It's so
than
easy
done.
to point the finger
Right.
to when you're
Right.
angry, when you're hurt. Everyone, you know. So
Right.
to some degree, that also just speaks to their pain and their loss.
Right.
Two, has her family reached out, or where are they out? So we haven't talked to her, but is her family?
Oh,
even
they've tried their best to try to slander me, try to drag me through the mud, try
to
to.
protect their child as opposed
no
to
doubt.
protecting their grandchild.
Knowing that he was with her.
Yes.
So also,
This is so
it's
confusing.
Vonda Bailey, who she's a family attorney, I asked her on the live if she'd be able to kind of steer you in the right direction, and she said that she is willing to do that. So we'll make sure that your contact information gets to her so that she can reach out to you and she can get you in contact with some criminal attorneys that can offer you, you know, some guidance on your case.
I know about her. She's pretty dope.
Yeah,
Vonda's
we love Vonda. I know I do.
So, I mean, and I guess like the questions that you ask yourself is, you know, when your child comes home and has the
The bruises.
The
Why did I let him go
bruises,
back? That's
right.
why I point fingers at myself.
right.
After he came home with bruises and we had the whole ordeal at her mother's house, I still let him go back because that was still his mom.
You're
Yeah.
attempting to give her the bit, like, because
The
too, that's something
benefit
you
of
would
the doubt.
never like this. So this can't be this, I mean,
Right,
so
because,
that's
like, what
something
mom
I
would
wanna
let her
imagine or
kid-
even think of. So it has to be something else. And this is what I'm going to tell myself because,
Yeah.
again, because what if it's not that?
Right.
Right. And so I feel like he still did his due diligence as a father.
But
Yeah,
now it's
I agree.
this can't be real. I can't keep. I ain't gonna say I can't keep. I keep waking up to this can't be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I haven't said much because I'm just like, I'm fuming inside.
Yeah.
I'm just so hurt and I'm just so upset. But
So for the people joining, we are speaking with Raymond Gilbert, father of Khalil, in regards to the murder of his son and the injustice faced. I know we had some people just tune in. So we're trying to, as best as we can, get him the resources for justice for Khalil and himself.
Right. And just like, you know, also to create some awareness and just rally behind his cause. I don't know if there is somebody that we can call, but we'll call. If there's somewhere that we can go, whoever's door that we got to knock on. Just
back to the media too,
right? And
I have a whole list of that, phone
right.
numbers, names, etc. So.
Right.
This is 4 years later for me. I didn't ran out of ideas.
Well,
we bring some
now
new
you
ones.
got
Right.
new support.
Right.
Exactly.
And I just, you said that you thought you were forgotten. Like that was just really tough because it shouldn't ever get to that place to where you have a community of people around you in that community hasn't, not to say that they haven't done everything that they can, but that there's always something else that can be done. And so just to do like a recap, baby Khalil was 2 years old and he was murdered as a result of blunt force trauma to his abdomen by either the mother or the mother's boyfriend. And he was 2 years old when it happened. In Tarrant County. He lived with his father, Raymond, but he was just visiting his mother for the weekend. There was like a previous incident of abuse where he had like some bruises on the side, but on the side of his head. And we showed a video, and I'll share the video onto our page if anybody wants to go back and watch the video as well. We'll have that on there. But yeah, we're just talking with him about like the roadblocks, like the standstill that the case, it just hasn't gained any traction, and there's no reason why. Like,
because how many times do you see on, what's that show, 48?
For your first 48,
and they split the people in 2 rooms and like break them down to confession.
Everything I saw on that show, all the
Does
cop
not-
shows, ain't happening
That
at
don't
all.
happen in real life.
And it's sensationalism. So then in real life, it's definitely
Right.
not.
Real life, y'all not
like
doing
what do you
When
do?
we really need you.
Like,
ain't doing.
and as a parent, like I can just imagine that you feel helpless at this point, and it's like, your child is gone, you're left with this empty void, but nobody's paying for it. Like, nobody's, like, there is no justice in this case, and that's what's so insane to me, is that you have like all of these people that we know, all of these people who went to law school, who are lawyers, community advocates. Like, there is no reason why this story shouldn't have gained traction. There is no particular reason as to why. We just have to take some time out of our lives and our schedules just to make sure that like this story sees, that we share some light on it, and that the right people get to look at it.
Now, did we have to harass Albert Roberts?
Yeah, Vonda said that you should
Right.
reach out to Albert Roberts. He's running for district attorney in Tarrant County, and you should put pressure on the current district attorney. This is definitely an area within the realm of what they do.
So we can do that too, our viewers and 30-something.
And just picking up the phone and calling the DA's office. I'm
Just
telling
putting
you.
that pressure, that attention, bringing it back. That's what's going to make some stuff move.
Right,
That's
and
no
we'll.
nice pressure.
I'm gonna put up the number to the DA's office in Tarrant County on our page, and I'm going to encourage everybody to call that number and to bug the crap out of that DA in Tarrant County, and so they can move on this case. I mean, you can at least go out and do some sort of interview. Somebody call me?
No, but I gotta say, and don't just call once. Keep calling every day until they actually do something about it.
Right.
And that's Kat. She's our engineer.
Hey,
she's chiming in. But we have to call, and I'm telling you, if you call, and if enough people call, like, they will definitely move on. And Savannah definitely has a point.
50-something people watching today. So if everybody calls tomorrow at least 3 or 4 times, that'll kind of bring you some action. I know I'm gonna call as many
I'm definitely
times as
gonna
possible.
call.
Right.
And Kat's gonna call. Yeah, you just have to harass these people to make sure, to let them know that we see you not doing nothing.
Right.
And you need to do something. And you getting paid with my money.
Right. With my tax dollars.
Exactly. So you have to demand justice in this particular case, and in every case where justice is due, but especially for little baby Khalil, because he's not here to speak up for himself. Even when he was 2 years old, he couldn't speak for himself at that point. Children, I'm telling you, like, my heart goes out to children and the elderly.
Yes, me too, girl. Me too.
We said to call the district attorney in Tarrant County,
and we'll post the number.
Yes, I would definitely post the number so we can start harassing. Did anybody want to add anything else?
Thank you.
Yeah, but definitely like, thank you for coming, and we're gonna do everything that we can to. And definitely, Sharifa said that Mr. Gilbert can't do it by himself. He definitely can't, and I think like at this point he's just kind of like exhausted. And after you try everything that you can, like what else can you do?
Exactly.
You know, if nobody's listening, if you feel like nobody cares, and you know you post a picture and you can get 500 people to like the picture, but 500 people ain't calling the DA's office. Exactly. 500 people, they can empathize with you. But if it was my child, I would be like, no, y'all, we finna call because this is some bull. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, just put yourself in his shoes. Like, what if it was your baby? Yeah. You know, that died and was murdered senselessly like that. So, and I can't even imagine that. Like, I don't even see how you're just sitting here right now, like, in one piece, because I would have definitely would have come undone.
The transparency, I feeling comfortable enough to share, because it was like even like, well, what do we ask? Like I was kind of, because I know how it would make me feel. So
first of all, I didn't even want to show up because I knew I was going to be so angry and sad. I was like, I can't. When they first told me, my first response was, I can't. And they were like,
did say I can't. I was like, you can't what?
I was like, I just can't. Yeah, it was just too much. Like,
I agree, and I was like, okay, try to have like a just research. So I'm like, let me try to have a logical standpoint, because if I allow my and it's not my child, but just a man, like
yeah.
So if I would approach this with anger, I would have never got anywhere. Even though it didn't go anywhere, I would have never gotten anywhere.
That's true.
You're right.
Yeah.
Then you would have been the one charged. Unfortunately,
right.
They would have been able to quickly make sure.
I don't even know what the right answer is. I mean, even when I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I'm making phone calls, and like nothing was shaking, and I don't know the reasoning as to why, but it doesn't even matter at this point. Like, we just have to do something.
Yeah, we're gonna do what we can. If we all rally together, I think we can make some noise and figure it out, or help figure it out.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you again for coming on to the show, and we're definitely going to continue to keep you in our prayers and our thoughts. And before you go, like, is there like any type of advice or thoughts that you want to give to like parents who are in situations that they might, you know, be kind of questioning, like the mom's boyfriend or maybe like the dad's girlfriend? Because this goes the other way as well. Like, you do have those mothers or women who would be in relationship with guys who have children and be doing like some questionable stuff. Like, do you have like any advice for anyone that could be in that situation?
To be honest, no. I'm not trying to be rude, but
no.
My son was with his mama.
Right.
The whole "you got to watch your kids who you leave with" thing, this contradicts that entire thing.
Right.
My little boy was with his mama.
Yeah.
The only other person in the world is supposed to love him as much or more than I do.
And do you think like maybe she wants to say something, but she's just not? She really is afraid of him, because I mean, with him being in prison under other charges, like no.
Because she disappeared and
but even too, it's like, what else could you take from me at this point?
Right.
That guilt will eat her up, though.
So do you feel like she was involved?
No doubt.
I feel like her defending him or even attempting to kind of, like, that in itself, kind of like, well, that right there. The fact she's still sitting right there, and it's like, well, we got a whole...
The fact that you have a 2-year-old that's primary custody was with his father said a lot to me about the mother, to be honest. It does to me. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Right. I always feel like a son should be with his father.
Son should be with his father, but at that young of an age, I
can agree with you that, like, as a mother, it's hard to be away from your kids.
Right.
So I agree with you with that, but it's not necessarily like completely unheard of for a child to be with his father, but I just don't understand.
But I'll be honest with you, me personally, and look, I'm like, I hope my mom isn't watching. I do think that there's something odd about a woman that would give up their child.
Right.
And I was raised by my father, and I do think that there's something there something off. There's no way, like, you gave birth to this child.
Right.
So
how do you know?
For you to release the child at 6, 2, 1, there's a disconnect there.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
And then her first jump to defense was of
it's
the
almost
man
like, do you
she
even
was
want to
dealing
be a
with.
mother? And going back to, and that's where that
Did you want to be a
psychological,
mom?
there's some pieces in there too that might have to deal with that relationship, or maybe that feeling like a burden to her. There's so many like components as to that, but I do think there's something off when a woman freely gives up their child, like full custody. I'm sorry. Like,
And Kamiko wanted to know if the courts granted you full custody, or was that just...
Yeah.
No, we never had any custody or anything like that. He was just
He
with
said
me.
they didn't have a custody
From what
agreement
age?
or a child support agreement. It was like, well,
From
here's your
birth
son.
to two. See,
there's something there.
I
Like,
ain't carrying a baby for
How
9
did you-
months, pushing
how did you
out the
meet
baby,
her?
and
Just every day. I met her at Kroger's, actually.
You met at the grocery store?
Yes. And I regret that all day.
I can only imagine. But yeah, I don't know. It's like the whole story is just so odd to me. Like as a mother, like even like you are responsible if you allow for someone to get away with hurting your baby. And then like just refusing to flip on him. Like even if you don't even want to believe it, like at some point you have to advocate for your child, for their life. So how's your mom doing? Because as far as like the grandparents aspect, like grandparents they go hard for their grandkids. They really do.
She took it real rough.
Yeah.
But my daughter's been helping her a lot.
Yeah.
But that's still a weight. You can see that she fits the Clarice.
Yeah.
That was her first grandchild.
Oh,
that's the first ain't nothing like the first grandchild.
Exactly. Oh, this is so heavy. I don't even know what else to say like at this point, but just definitely know that you have our support and that we're going to definitely make those calls and we're going to advocate, for you. And I know like your light's probably burning out by now, so we're going to try to absorb some of that for you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
You've been pretty amazing for me.
Thank you. I just do what I can with what little bit I have.
You're a bulldog, girl. You own it.
I always try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. Like, if it were me, like, what would I want for somebody to do? And so...
See, what's crazy to me is, when I met you, we didn't know anything about each other. We knew each other from somebody.
Yep.
That's how she meet her.
Right.
That's her thing.
But
shake hands.
all of my friends with platforms did nothing.
Wow.
And you barely knew me. You did this. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. I mean, like, I felt like I had to, just because I have a little baby. And I'm so emotional. But I could just, like, imagine because even when she gets, like, a little cut or a scar or she falls and hurts herself, like, I just come all the way unglued, and just to imagine, like, her not being there anymore. Like, it's just too much. So
Yeah.
I definitely felt like it was my job, our job, at the podcast to like just, try to give you another platform to speak on, and just to voice, your story and get it out there. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you for having me.
No problem.
So just to recap, guys, we're challenging everyone tuned in today to share this podcast, to also share the video that we're going to post tomorrow of Khalil's story, and also to call the Tarrant County DA. I'm going to ask that each time you call, post on the 30-something podcast page. I called. Because we want to be accountable.
Right.
For
and we're
doing
not,
what we
right.
say we're going to do. If we say we're going to provide support
Right.
to him, we want to actually not just talk about it, we want to be about it. So if posting it on the page saying, hey, I called, hey, did you call, whatever gets the traction that we need to get behind.
Oh, shoot.
The story.
Vonda got that number so quick.
And that number is 817-884-1400.
Come through, Vonda, with the Tarrant County DA. Yes. So,
Thank you, Vonda.
And so we're not challenging anybody to give us any money. We're not challenging anybody. We're just, you using your phone anyway. It's in your hand. All you got to do is between business hours, call the DA's office and repost. You're posting all day. Just repost this podcast, this particular episode. please repost it. And make sure you call the DA's office. That's it. Just 2 things that you can definitely do.
What's the number again?
Yeah, share the video.
Khalil.
And share the video. And we play the video, so it'll also be in the podcast as well. But the number again is 817-884-1400. And we just want to thank everybody who took the time to watch and everybody who's going to watch. And just remember to share the video, like and share, and also call that number. And thank you guys for watching.
And love on your babies.
Please hug your babies.
Prayers to the family of Roy Lee Pate.
And yes, and Yellow Beezy's family for his recovery, and also prayers to the Gilbert family.
Yes.
Because they definitely, I mean, like, you never recover from something like this, like, not fully, you know, it's always that little piece missing. So, but we definitely are going to continue to shower you with love and show some love. But thank you guys for watching.
Next week.
And we're going to have a lighter show next time.
Next Tuesday.
We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.